In a quiet town, there lived a young woman named Sarah. Each day found her working hard at her job, but deep inside, she felt an uneasy weight on her heart. The tasks piled up, and the worries crept in. What if I don't get that promotion? What if I let my family down? Each little fear whispered in her ear, making her more anxious than ever. One evening, as she sat on her couch scrolling through social media, she saw happy faces and perfect lives all around her. The pressure to keep up with everyone else seemed to intensify, and as she looked at those images, she felt even more overwhelmed. In those moments of doubt and fear, she longed for something, anything, that could calm the storm inside her. Then, almost by chance, Sarah stumbled upon a video of a preacher speaking about peace. He shared the powerful words of Jesus, "Let not your heart be troubled." A sense of comfort washed over her as she listened. It was like, for the first time, someone truly understood how she felt. It felt urgent, as if those words were meant just for her. Jesus spoke those words to his disciples not long before his crucifixion. They were afraid and confused about what lay ahead. Their world was shaken by fear of the unknown, just like Sarah's heart was disrupted by daily anxieties. In that moment, Jesus didn't dismiss their fears or tell them to toughen up. Instead, he offered them something far greater, a reminder that they do not have to face life's troubles alone. This connection between Sarah's struggles and Jesus' message struck a chord deep within her. She realized that anxiety isn't something unique to her, it's a part of being human. Just like Jesus' followers, we all face moments filled with uncertainty. But through his compassionate words, Jesus invites us to let go of our burdens and find peace in him. As she reflected on this message, Sarah felt a spark of hope flicker inside her, an idea to transform her worries into prayers instead. Every time anxiety started creeping back in, whether it was about work or relationships, she decided to whisper a simple prayer. "Lord, help my heart find peace." Over time, these moments not only soothed her stress but allowed for joy to break through the chaos. Sarah's story reminds us all that even in our most troubled times, we can hold on to the promise of peace that comes from faith. As you listen today, consider where in your life you might need to let your heart be free from worry and embrace the comfort of knowing you are not alone. Let these words take root in your heart. They are meant for you as much as they were meant for Sarah and for all who struggle with fear. After Sarah discovered the comforting words of Jesus, she felt a deeper urge to understand their meaning. What did it really mean when Jesus said, "Let not your heart be troubled"? To uncover this, we need to travel back in time to a pivotal moment in the Bible. These words were spoken by Jesus during a crucial dinner with his disciples, just before his crucifixion. The atmosphere in the room was heavy with fear and uncertainty. The disciples had gathered for what they thought would be a normal meal, but little did they know that their world was about to change forever. Jesus had been talking about his impending departure, and this news left them feeling anxious and confused. They worried about what their lives would look like without him guiding them. In this moment of despair, Jesus looked at his closest friends and saw their troubled hearts. He understood the fears that gripped them, the fear of loneliness, the fear of losing their leader, and the fear of what lay ahead. Instead of dismissing these feelings or telling them to stop worrying, he offered them something much more valuable: reassurance. "Let not your heart be troubled," he said softly. This wasn't just a comforting statement, it was an invitation to trust. Jesus was urging his disciples, and all of us, to look beyond our immediate worries and place our faith in him. He wanted them to remember that even in the darkest times, they would not be alone. But why should they, and we, feel this way? Jesus continued by reminding them of the promise of a better future. He spoke of going to prepare a place for them, assuring them that they had hope beyond this life. It was a message that reminded his followers that even when circumstances seemed bleak, there was still light and love waiting for them on the other side. As Sarah reflected on this scene, she realized that Jesus' words were not just for the disciples 2,000 years ago, they were for her today. They resonate deeply with anyone who has faced anxiety or uncertainty. Just as Jesus comforted his friends in their moments of fear, he is there for us too. Sarah understood that these words called for action, a step beyond merely acknowledging her worries. To let not her heart be troubled meant actively choosing faith over fear. She started to incorporate this idea into her daily life. Whenever anxiety bubbled up again, she remembered Jesus' invitation and chose to release her troubles through prayer and trust. This understanding filled Sarah with newfound strength, encouraging her to embrace life's uncertainties with peace instead of panic. It became clear to her that embracing Jesus' message could transform not only her outlook but also guide others who were struggling just like she had been. As Sarah continued to reflect on Jesus' words, she felt a strong desire to understand the background of his life and the events that led to such a powerful message. To grasp the full significance of "Let not your heart be troubled," it was important to explore the context in which Jesus spoke these words. At this moment in history, Jesus had been traveling with his disciples for about 3 years. They had shared countless experiences together, witnessing miracles, listening to profound teachings, and feeling the warmth of his love. Yet, as they approached the time of Jesus' crucifixion, uncertainty loomed over them like a dark cloud. Just before he spoke to them, Jesus had revealed that he would soon be leaving them. This news struck fear into their hearts. The disciples were not just losing a friend, they were losing their teacher and guide. They had seen him perform amazing miracles, healing the sick, calming storms, and even raising the dead. With every miracle, their faith in him grew stronger, but now they faced a future without his physical presence. The atmosphere around the table that night was thick with anxiety. The disciples exchanged worried glances, each one felt an immense weight on their hearts but struggled to voice their fears. What would happen to them without Jesus? Would they be able to carry on his work? The question swirled in their minds like a tempest. Understanding this turmoil, Jesus took a moment to address their worries directly. He knew that fear could paralyze them if they allowed it to take hold. In saying, "Let not your heart be troubled," he wasn't just offering empty words, he was inviting them into a deeper relationship of trust and reliance on him. He reminded them of who he was, not just a teacher or leader but the Son of God with a divine purpose. Jesus went on to speak about preparing a place for them in heaven and promised that he would return for them. These assurances were meant to anchor their faith amidst uncertainty and despair. It was an invitation to look beyond their immediate fears and find comfort in his eternal love. For Sarah, learning about this context made Jesus' message even more powerful. It wasn't merely a phrase spoken long ago, it was a heartfelt response from someone who truly understood human emotions, someone who faced struggles himself yet offered hope. Just as Jesus offered assurance to his disciples in their moment of fear, so too can these words reach us today. Feeling inspired by this connection between her own worries and those faced by the disciples, Sarah realized she could cultivate peace in her heart by embracing faith over fear, a lesson that could transform her life and guide others mired in their anxieties as well. With a deeper understanding of the context surrounding Jesus' words, Sarah now turned her attention to their true meaning. When Jesus said, "Let not your heart be troubled," he was sharing a profound message that carried the weight of reassurance and hope. It wasn't merely a gentle suggestion, it was an invitation to embrace faith during life's storms. To truly grasp what Jesus meant, we can break down this phrase into its core themes: faith, reassurance, and trust in God. In the face of uncertainty, Jesus was urging his disciples, and us, to look beyond our immediate fears and place our confidence in him. First, let's talk about faith. Faith is more than just believing, it's about trusting in something greater than ourselves. In our daily lives, we often encounter challenges that leave us feeling overwhelmed and scared. Whether it's job loss, health issues, or personal struggles, these moments can shake our foundations. Yet, Jesus reminds us that having faith means recognizing that we are not alone in these battles. He encourages us to lean on him for strength and guidance. Next comes reassurance. When Jesus spoke those comforting words to his disciples, he acknowledged their fear but offered them something much more powerful, a promise of peace. He wanted them to know that despite their worries about the future, they could find comfort in his presence. This idea resonates deeply with us today. Life is unpredictable and often throws curveballs our way. However, we can find solace knowing that God walks alongside us in every trial we face. Lastly, there is trust. Trust requires vulnerability. It means letting go of our need to control every situation and allowing God to take charge instead. Jesus wanted his disciples to trust him wholeheartedly as they navigated uncertain paths ahead. By saying, "Let not your heart be troubled," he encouraged them, and us, to surrender our anxieties into his capable hands. As Sarah pondered over these themes, she recognized how they interconnected to form a beautiful tapestry of support from God during tough times. Each thread, faith, reassurance, and trust, worked together to create a safety net for those struggling with anxiety and fear. Feeling inspired by this revelation, Sarah began applying these principles in her own life. Whenever feelings of doubt crept in, she would remind herself of the importance of faith in God's plan for her life, and the reassurance that he was always with her. She started trusting him more deeply when faced with challenges instead of letting worry consume her. In sharing this newfound understanding with others around her, friends who were also wrestling with their own fears, Sarah became a beacon of hope. She showed them that by embracing these themes found in Jesus' words, they too could navigate their struggles with courage and peace. And as she did so, Sarah discovered a sense of purpose in helping others find comfort through faith in their darkest moments, a powerful gift indeed. As Sarah continued her journey of understanding and sharing Jesus' message, she began to seek out real-life connections that illustrated the power of, "Let not your heart be troubled." She discovered that many people have found comfort in these words during their most challenging moments, and their stories resonated deeply with her. One story that particularly touched Sarah was that of a man named David. David was a single father working 2 jobs to provide for his young daughter. One day, he received the news that he had lost his job due to company downsizing. Overwhelmed with fear and anxiety about how he would support his daughter, he recalled hearing the phrase, "Let not your heart be troubled," during a church service. In that moment, he decided to turn to prayer instead of succumbing to despair. He asked God for guidance and strength to navigate this uncertain time. Slowly but surely, job opportunities began to appear, and within weeks, David found a new position that not only matched his previous salary but also offered better hours to spend with his daughter. He often shares how Jesus' words gave him hope when he needed it most. Another powerful story came from a woman named Maria, who faced a health crisis. After being diagnosed with a serious illness, Maria felt her world crumble around her. She couldn't shake the fear of what lay ahead and felt burdened by doubt and anxiety. One night, as she prayed for peace, she remembered Jesus' comforting words. The phrase echoed in her mind, reminding her that she wasn't alone in her fight. With newfound strength, she began to lean on her faith and support from her loved ones. She started attending a support group where she found comfort in sharing her experience with others facing similar challenges. Through this journey, Maria discovered that trust in God allowed her to face each day with courage instead of fear. These testimonies inspired Sarah to realize that countless others have also struggled, just like David and Maria, and sought comfort in Jesus' message. It wasn't just about understanding those words, it was about living them out in real life. Encouraged by these stories, Sarah started organizing small gatherings where people could come together to share their experiences and how they found peace through faith during difficult times. Each week brought new faces and fresh stories, creating a community bonded by the understanding that they could lean on one another and God when life got tough. As Sarah listened to these heartfelt accounts, she felt even more motivated to apply Jesus' message in her own life while encouraging others to do the same. The examples around her showcased the resilience of the human spirit when fueled by faith. They reminded everyone that despite challenges or uncertainty, embracing Jesus' words can light the way through the darkness. Through shared struggles and triumphs, Sarah realized that, "Let not your heart be troubled," transcends time, it speaks across generations, offering hope to anyone willing to hear it today. And as she closed each gathering with prayer, she felt empowered knowing they were all on this journey together, finding strength in faith and community. As Sarah continued her exploration of Jesus' message, she felt compelled to look deeper into spiritual insights that reinforced the words, "Let not your heart be troubled." The Bible is filled with verses and stories that echo this powerful sentiment, providing guidance and encouragement during tough times. One such verse is found in Psalm 34 verse 4, which says, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me, he delivered me from all my fears." This psalm beautifully illustrates the promise of God's presence in moments of anxiety. It reminds us that when we seek him, he is ready to listen and provide comfort. Sarah reflected on this passage when she thought about how David turned to prayer after losing his job. Just like David, we can find reassurance in knowing that God hears us when we call out to him in our distress. Another profound story that resonated with Sarah was the account of Peter walking on water in Matthew 14 verses 22 to 33. In this narrative, Peter steps out of the boat to walk toward Jesus on the water but begins to sink as he becomes afraid of the wind and waves. As he calls out to Jesus for help, the Lord reaches out and saves him. This story illustrates that even in our moments of doubt, we are encouraged to take risks in faith, stepping out bravely while knowing that Jesus is there to catch us when we falter. For Sarah, this reminded her that faith often requires us to move forward despite our fears, trusting that Jesus will support us along the way. Additionally, Sarah came across Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7, which states, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This passage emphasized the importance of turning our worries into prayers, something Sarah had already begun doing in her life. It illustrated how surrendering our anxieties can lead us to experience God's peace beyond our comprehension. As she gathered stories from others who found solace in these verses, Sarah noticed a common thread: whether through prayer or faith-filled actions like those of Peter, people were experiencing profound transformations. They discovered that their troubles didn't just vanish but became manageable as they leaned into their faith. Feeling invigorated by these insights, Sarah began sharing these biblical connections at her gatherings. She encouraged participants to reflect on their own experiences with fear and anxiety while considering how they could apply these teachings in their lives. Through group discussions and prayer, they together explored how biblical truths could serve as a guiding light amid darkness. By incorporating these spiritual insights into her gatherings, Sarah created an environment where everyone felt empowered to confront their fears with faith. They learned that embracing Jesus' message provides strength not only for themselves but also for those around them. Valuing faith over fear became a collective mission among her community, a journey toward realizing the immense peace available through trust in God's promises. In closing each gathering with heartfelt prayers focused on courage and hope, Sarah reinforced the understanding that, "Let not your heart be troubled," is not just a phrase, it's a call to action, an invitation to embrace faith and share it joyfully with others facing life's challenges. As Sarah concluded her gatherings, she felt a strong urge to encourage everyone present to reflect on their own lives. Take a moment, she proposed softly, to think about the times when you felt troubled or overwhelmed. What were those moments like? How did they affect you and your ability to cope? She watched as participants closed their eyes, lost in thought. Memories began to surface, instances of anxiety about losing a job, fear of a serious health diagnosis, or the worry of not being able to support loved ones. Each person carried unique burdens, and it was evident that many had experienced feelings of despair at some point in their journeys. Now, Sarah continued gently, consider how you responded during those times. Did you find yourself spiraling into fear or doubt? Or did you reach out for help? Did you take a moment to pray or seek comfort in your faith? Jesus reminds us that even in moments of uncertainty, we are never alone. He invites us to cast our anxieties onto Him. She encouraged them to think about how they might apply Jesus' teaching from today's discussion in their own lives. What if, in those tough moments, you chose to hold onto His promise instead of succumbing to fear? How would it feel to remind yourself that it's okay not to have all the answers? As the group sat in silence, Sarah shared her own experience. I remember a time when I faced overwhelming pressure at school. I felt lost and unsure of my future. But I held on to Jesus' words, "Let not your heart be troubled." Whenever I did this, I found a peace that helped me move forward. She urged everyone to think about practical steps they could take when confronted with anxiety or fear. Maybe it's finding a quiet space to pray each day or journaling thoughts and fears to God. Perhaps it's reaching out to friends and family for support or sharing your struggles during our gatherings. Sarah emphasized the importance of community in this process. "We are stronger together," she said warmly. By sharing our burdens with each other, we begin to lift the weight off our shoulders. It also allows us to see how God is working through others in our lives. As she wrapped up the reflection, Sarah invited everyone to make a small commitment, something they could implement in their daily routines as a reminder of Jesus' message. Perhaps you can use a sticky note and write down, "Let not your heart be troubled," so you see it often. Let it serve as a reminder that peace is just a prayer away. Finally, she led them in a closing prayer, asking God to help each person find strength and courage in their individual struggles. May we all learn to embrace faith over fear, she prayed, and may we continue sharing our journeys together as we support one another. As the gathering came to an end, Sarah felt hopeful knowing that each participant had been inspired to reflect on their troubles and consider how they could apply Jesus' teachings in their everyday lives, a small but powerful step toward finding peace in the chaos. As Sarah wrapped up her gatherings, she felt a deep desire to provide practical ways for everyone to incorporate Jesus' comforting message into their daily routines. She knew that faith needs action to thrive, and making small changes could lead to significant transformations. Let's talk about how we can apply "Let not your heart be troubled" in our everyday lives, she began, looking around the room at the eager faces. There are simple yet powerful practices we can adopt to help us embrace faith and find peace. First, Sarah suggested the practice of prayer. Taking just a few moments each day to pray can make a world of difference. You might set aside time in the morning to thank God for the day ahead or at night to reflect on your experiences. When you feel overwhelmed, don't hesitate to lift your worries up in prayer. Remember, Jesus invites us to bring our burdens to Him. She encouraged everyone to communicate their fears honestly, reminding them that prayer is a way to build a personal connection with God. Next, she introduced the idea of meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated, she explained. It can simply mean sitting in silence, focusing on your breathing, and being present in the moment. You can even meditate on scripture, like Jesus' words, letting them sink deep into your heart. Visualize His comfort wrapping around you like a warm blanket. This practice not only calms anxiety but also helps anchor thoughts in faith. Sarah also emphasized the importance of journaling as a way to process feelings. Writing down your thoughts and emotions can be incredibly therapeutic. Consider keeping a gratitude journal where you list things you're thankful for each day, or even a worry journal where you write down your fears and then pray over them. This can help you release those burdens onto God. Another suggestion was reaching out for supportive community interactions. Remember that we're stronger together, she said with warmth. Don't hesitate to lean on friends or family when times get tough. Share your struggles during our gatherings or connect with someone you trust for encouragement. You don't have to face challenges alone, there's strength in community. Sarah urged everyone to take it a step further by finding a partner for accountability. Pair up with someone from our group who shares similar goals. You can check in on each other regularly, pray together, and share your progress on embracing faith over fear. This partnership can greatly enhance your spiritual journey. Finally, she encouraged them to create visual reminders of hope around their homes, like sticky notes with "Let not your heart be troubled" written on them, or scripture verses that resonate with their hearts. Place these reminders where you'll see them often, whether it's on your bathroom mirror or your desk at work. Let them serve as gentle nudges toward peace throughout your day. As Sarah concluded her suggestions, she invited everyone to choose one or two practices they felt inspired to implement in their lives. Remember, she said softly, these small steps can lead to big changes. By holding on to Jesus' words, we can cultivate peace amidst chaos and learn to navigate life's storms with grace. With hopeful hearts and renewed spirit, Sarah's gathering left everyone feeling empowered and equipped to embrace faith in their daily lives, ready to transform their worries into moments of connection with God and one another. As we come to the end of our journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful message we've explored: let not your heart be troubled. We've seen how these words of Jesus resonate deeply with our everyday struggles and the universal feelings of anxiety and fear that many of us face. Throughout this discussion, we learned that Jesus spoke these comforting words during a time of great uncertainty for His disciples. They were afraid, worried about their leader's impending departure, and overwhelmed by what the future held. Yet even in their fear, Jesus offered them reassurance, reminding them, and us, that we do not have to face life's challenges alone. The main points we've touched on highlight the importance of faith, reassurance, and trust in God. Sarah's own journey illustrated how embracing these themes can transform our lives. By turning her worries into prayers and seeking comfort in God's promises, she discovered a profound sense of peace amid chaos. This lesson is one we can all incorporate into our lives, reminding ourselves to reach out to God during difficult times instead of allowing fear to consume us. We also heard inspiring stories from individuals like David and Maria, real people navigating real struggles. Their experiences showed us that when we lean into faith, even in the darkest moments, incredible strength can emerge. It emphasizes that our burdens are lighter when shared within a supportive community. Together, we can lift each other up, finding comfort in our shared journeys. Moreover, Sarah provided practical applications for embracing this message daily, through prayer, meditation, journaling, community support, and accountability partnerships. These simple yet powerful practices encourage us to create space for reflection and connection with God and others. By making these small changes in our routines, we can cultivate lasting peace within ourselves. As we move forward from here, I invite you to carry this message with you. Consider where in your life you felt troubled or overwhelmed and think about how you can apply Jesus' teachings to those moments. What steps might you take? How can you remind yourself that peace is always just a prayer away? Take time each day to connect with God, whether through quiet prayer or reflecting on scripture that speaks to your heart. Surround yourself with supportive friends who uplift you in your faith journey. Don't hesitate to lean on one another when things get tough. Ultimately, remember that following Jesus' words leads us toward comfort and strength. Embracing His guidance allows us not only to navigate life's storms but also to shine light into the lives of those around us who may be struggling too. So as we conclude today's gathering, hold on to the promise behind, "Let not your heart be troubled." Let it resonate within you as a guiding light, a reminder that no matter what challenges come your way, you are never alone. With faith as your foundation and community by your side, peace awaits on the other side of every worry. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find strength and comfort in every step ahead. As we bring our time together to a close, I want to leave you with an emotional reflection that truly captures the heart of this message. Throughout our discussions, we've seen and felt the weight of anxiety and fear that so many carry in their daily lives. But today, I encourage you to remember the very essence of Jesus' words, "Let not your heart be troubled." These words are not just a phrase from long ago, they are a powerful reminder that relief is always within reach. In moments when life feels overwhelming, remember that Jesus calls us to place our worries in His hands. Picture this: you're standing at the edge of a stormy sea, waves crashing all around you. The winds howl and the darkness threatens to swallow you whole. It's in those moments that Jesus reaches out His hand, saying, "Don't be afraid, I am here." Just as He did for Peter on those stormy waters, He invites us to step confidently into our uncertainties with faith as our anchor. What I'm asking you today is to embrace that faith over fear, not just for yourself but also for those around you. Think about your friends, family, co-workers, or anyone else who might need hope in their lives. How can you share this message with them? Perhaps it's as simple as sharing a kind word or offering a listening ear when they're feeling troubled. Each one of us can spread hope like wildfire through small acts of kindness or shared words of encouragement. Sarah's journey is a testament to how one person's open heart can inspire an entire community. When she chose to embrace her struggles and share her newfound understanding of peace with others, she didn't just change her own life, she created a ripple effect. Those who listened were uplifted and encouraged to rise above their own troubles as well. You too have the power to impact those around you. Your story might be what someone else needs to hear. As we move forward into our days, let's carry this message close to our hearts and actively choose faith over fear every single day. Take the practices we've discussed, set time aside for prayer each morning or meditate on uplifting verses whenever worries begin to creep in. Surround yourself with a supportive community where your burdens can be shared and lighter. Remember that peace begins within us. It starts when we trust in God's unwavering presence amid chaos. Let these words resonate within you, encouraging you whenever life feels heavy. Let not your heart be troubled. They are more than mere words, they are a lifeline during challenging times. So I invite you now, take a deep breath and let go of what weighs heavily on your heart. Fill that space with faith, the kind that transforms worries into strength and fear into courage. Commit yourself to holding on to this promise and sharing it generously with everyone in your life. In doing so, we create a world surrounded by faith and love, one where hearts are uplifted and peace reigns supreme. Thank you for joining me today. May your journey ahead be filled with grace, strength, and unshakable hope.